you're just kind of joining this one. I think it's going to be the same. So if you have already attended the morning batch, it did not happen today, but if it was the previous session on Monday, I'm going to cover the same thing here. Okay, so if you are from the morning batch who have joined here, I would say it's going to be repetitive. It's okay to stay here, but just make sure that you're joining one of these batches for sure, so that you don't miss out anything. All right. Okay, anything from anyone? I don't see questions coming. I hope everything works. Just put something on the chat, just so that you know that the chat and everything else is working. If you may not be able to unmute yourself, just raise your hand. I'll go ahead and give you the permission, and we'll go that route. Okay. All right. I think we can get started. Let's not waste any more time. I don't see any questions coming in. I'm looking at the chat. I'll pay attention to those details, and let's just take it forward slowly. Okay. Now, today's focus is going to be on connecting to a variety of different data sources. Let's go ahead and load the data from a few different data sources today. Okay. And what I wanted to just convey is, no matter what the data source is for you, okay, so you can see something like One Lake Data Hub, Excel Workbook, SQL Server. You have so many different things here, right? So no matter what the data source is, it can be Azure, it can be AWS, anything of that sort, S3 buckets and all of that. So what I'm trying to tell you here is the connection, the first step of the connection alone differs, but after that, you will see everything just like how we did this in the last session. Excel workbook, navigator window, all of that is going to be coming up. So just wanted to convey that idea to you, so that you're not scared of connecting to any of those different data sources. Okay, don't be scared of not knowing, or if you are completely blank about how to connect to a data sources, don't worry about that. Okay, you can get some help from your team members. You can definitely understand for the first time how to get started. Get in touch with your team members within your project, understand how the connection happens. You just have to follow that same route. Okay, but yes, I'll go and talk and walk you through about certain different data sources. We'll just go and talk about that. Let's see how that goes. Okay. All right. So I'm going to start fresh today. I have a Power BI file open, Power BI desktop file open, and we'll just go ahead and create a blank report. So everything that you do inside Power BI desktop is called as a report. And I want you to please understand that there is a concept called dashboard. We'll learn about that later, but that's not within Power BI desktop. Okay. So it's going to be on the server side of things. We'll talk more about it later, but anything that you do inside Power BI desktop is always called as a report. Okay. So start calling this workbook itself as a report. If you're coming up with a customer analysis, that's a report. If you're talking about sales analysis, that's a report. So anything that you build inside Power BI desktop will be called as a report. Okay. Yeah. So let's jump in to the tool itself, so that, we'll just get into a report and we'll start building a report. Now, before building a report, before working with a report, it is important that you go ahead and understand how to connect to the data set, right? So let's talk about it. And before I even do that, let's first of all focus on understanding the data, because that becomes very, very important. If you have a good, nice uh, you know understanding of your data, it becomes easier for you to go and load them into Power BI and then work with that particular detail. Okay, so let's talk about that, and I'll slowly introduce you to the data set. We'll go and understand the data set. We'll just go connect to that and load that into Power BI. Okay, so let's focus on the data set first. Okay, all right. Let me just share that in the chat window here, and probably our coordinators are going to go ahead and share that later with you all through some accessible link. So let me just share this data set first with you here on the chat. Just give me 1 minute. Let's see. Okay, just hold on. It may be just taking a bit of a time here. Okay, so I'm just sending this file to you over the chat. Just download and keep it. Okay, don't do anything with this. Just download and keep it. I'll show that file on my screen here. We'll understand the data set and we'll move forward. Okay, please don't do anything. Just download it and keep it. All right. Okay, now I'm going to open this file in my screen. Let me just do that. Okay, just going to bring that up. All right, great. So this is the file that we will be working with. This is going to be the data set that will first of all connect and load it into Power BI. Okay. I've just shared that on the screen, or sorry, on the chat, and then I hope you can download it and keep it with yourself. Okay. All right. Now, what is this data set? This data set is called as sample superstore data set. Okay. Now, this is a sample data coming from Tableau. Okay. um, this was shared in the last class, right? Yes, yes, that's what I said. If you are part of the morning batch, I would say this is just going to be a repetitive one. Okay, we just have 1 day's lag with evening batch. So if you have attended this on Monday, it's just the repetition here. Okay, so yeah, you can feel free to drop off. I'm just going to cover the same thing. Otherwise, you can stay. That's fine. All right, so this is our sample superstores data set. All right, and this is more like an e-commerce data, e-commerce websites data. And let's go through this. And what I would like to go ahead and do is I would like to go ahead and compare this with, Amazon's data set, something similar to an Amazon's business. So I'll just go ahead and do that. Now, I want you to please go ahead and understand your data first. If you are not understanding your data, it's going to be very difficult for you to go ahead and build and come up with those reports and other details. So understanding the data becomes very, very important. All right, so please do that. If you're not good with your data set, if you don't understand your data set very well, then it's not possible for you to go ahead and derive those insights, draw those charts, graphs, and visuals. Okay. So I want you to be very thorough with your data. This is what I want you to do. I've seen people really fail, lose jobs just because of not understanding the data. Okay. So, see, if you're not understanding this data, you won't be able to perform better. You won't be able to bring out those insights. People will think you're not able to go ahead and do anything with Power BI. Okay. It's not the fault of the, I would say, the tool or the developer. It's the understanding gap that we have. All right. So I'm just telling you all of this based on the scenarios and situations that I've gone ahead and myself seen. So please have a thorough understanding of your data. It can be an insurance data set. It can be a shipping domains data set. I've given these examples in my other classes. But if you're not understanding this data set, it's going to be very difficult. Okay. So let's try to understand this data. And I'm just going to give you a clue on how you should be proceeding with this. And let's just move forward. Okay. You may be, kind of an experienced candidate. You can be a fresher here. You're just looking for a different job. You are coming from a different background. I don't know all that. I can't go through, we have like about 30 participants here. I can't go and have everyone's profile scanned and understand what's happening here. But I feel and I believe that this information is really going to help you, because whenever you're working on a data related tool, you need to have that understanding for sure. Okay. It's not about, having a blindfold and you can just do everything. No, you have to understand your data. All right. So just hear me out when I say this. Just focus on this part. When I say this, it's important. You need to have a thorough understanding of data. I'm stressing this so much. I'm just being speaking on this for 2 or 3 minutes because this is important. Okay. You'll have nothing to do otherwise later point in time when you get into visualizations and other stuff. You will never understand what to do. You will not understand what are the discrepancies with your data. You'll not be able to solve those issues and then also visualize the data. Okay. So if all of that is not happening, then it's going to be very difficult. Okay. So yeah, let's get a hold of our data, understand our data, and then move forward. All right. Good. Now, what I want you to do is, this is more like a sales data here, right? See this? We have sales, quantity, discount, and profit, all of these different columns coming in. These are going to be the key metrics for, any person to go and analyze a few things here. All right. Now, I told you that I can go and compare this with Amazon's data set. Now, what you may have done is you may have gone ahead and uh, purchased a product from Amazon. Yes. And you could have done this as a customer. You should have done this as a customer, right? So it's not that you're looking at your Amazon's data set as the CEO of the company or the owner of the company. You're just dealing with this data as a customer. That's what I would say. Yes or no? So it's important for you to know that even from a customer standpoint, you can very well understand the business, and that is what I'm targeting or asking you to go ahead and do. Okay, so let's go ahead and focus from that perspective. From a customer standpoint, if you have just purchased a product, how would you go ahead and understand the business? It's going to be very simple. You don't have to do anything beyond that. Okay, so let's say I purchased a product from Amazon. What happens? I go into the app, I go into the website, and I go and look for the products that I want to go and purchase. I add it to the cart, I check it out, and then it gets shipped, it gets delivered to my address. That's what is happening. And that part of the story is more than enough for you to go and understand the business and the data itself. That's what we will go and understand. And based on this story, we'll understand what we have here. Okay. That's what I want you to clearly do with your data. Let's say if you're talking about or looking at an insurance domains data set, okay, you don't have to be scared. Yes, there are going to be a lot of jargons, there are going to be a lot of terms and technical terms coming in that way. You don't have to really, understand every single word or a column name. Okay. What I'm trying to tell you is if you have purchased a product, an insurance product, you will know some things like who's the sum okay, what's the sum assured, who's the insurer, who is getting insured, so on and so forth, and what is the premium that you pay. So these are technical terms associated with your insurance related data set. Yes or no? So that's more than enough. I don't want you to go into the details of every single column, only those which are required for you to go and load it into the visualization tool and then work with that should be more than enough. Or your customer is going to give you some requirements, and based on that, feel free to understand what columns refer to these different things and how can you bring those things out. Okay, so you don't have to really do anything apart from that. All I'm asking you to do is thoroughly understand your data. This is going to be the most important part in your entire analysis. If you're not thorough with this, then it's going to be very difficult. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Give me 1 minute, guys. I see a lot of people start annotating on my screen here. So I'm just going to say disable annotation. And yeah, that's good. Okay. Now, let's talk about this data set. Now, from an Amazon's perspective, when you have purchased it, you are just a customer. Let's go ahead and talk about this from a business perspective. Okay. So from your side, when you're purchasing this particular product, you're a customer and you've just bought a product. But for Amazon or anyone looking at from the business side, it's going to be an order coming in. Yes or no? So you purchased a product, but it's an order coming in for the business. And the order was placed on certain date. It was shipped on certain date. Yes or no? That's what is happening. And we do have a lot of delivery modes here. So you can see that we have a few delivery modes for this one, but with respect to Amazon, it's more like, prime delivery, 1 day delivery, 2 day delivery, whatever that is. Whenever you check out a product, you'll understand the delivery modes and delivery time. That's what we are talking about here. Okay. So we are talking about similar things, but with respect to the sample superstore that is given to us. All right. So that's what we have. It's a very similar data. You don't really have to go out and understand anything else. You just have to relate it with a business or a product that you already know. So you just have to kind of relate it and then understand what's happening. Okay. Now, you also have something like customer ID and customer name. So there are customers purchasing your product. So that is what is happening. And that's what is getting listed here or kind of getting highlighted here, right? And then we have segment in the sense the product that we are selling is categorized into certain segments. For example, we have consumer product being sold, we have corporate product, we have home office products. Okay, that's what we are selling. I mean, the sample superstore is selling, and that's what we have kind of listed here. The customers may come from certain geography. So we have the country, city, state, postal code, region, and all of that coming in. So these are all the different geography that is, kind of set up. And I think it's probably based on the customer detail that we can relate these geographies to them, right? So maybe this particular lady is coming from United States, Henderson, Kentucky, blah, blah, blah. And that's the location that we have. We don't have too much of details. We don't have the address, the phone number, the email address, blah, blah, blah. You can have that as well, but that's going to be again, a huge table. But yes, this is a simple data set, and I think we can just kind of take it forward that way. That's just fine. Yes, this is what we have, right? Now, we have something called as product ID and product name, and of course, your, respective, I would say the products on Amazon will have its own product ID, the product name, and so on and so forth. And they are also broadly categorized into two big major categories. All right, that's what we have. Is that clear? Yes, this is what we have, and this is how it's all set up. So these are all the details that we have with respect to our data. Plus, we have the most important metrics of all, the sales, quantity, discount, and profit. All of them put together are important metrics that the users or the business users wants to go and look at and kind of go through this, right? So this is what I'm talking about. You need to understand your data, and if you can relate this data with something that you already know, it becomes easier for you to understand the data. Are you getting my point? Yes. So we just compared this data set. It's looking like a e-commerce data. I just compared it with a e-commerce business that I already know, and Amazon's website that I've already used. I've gone ahead and purchased some products. I'm just trying to look at it from a customer standpoint. And if you can just understand the process, that's more than enough. You should be able to understand the whole data set very easily. Okay. All right. So now, if you look at this particular sheet, we have something called orders. That's what we have just gone through. And there is something called returns and people. All right. So there are a couple more sheets. Let's go through that. And whenever I'm talking about, the e-commerce website, it is for sure, and it is obvious that you'll have returns. Yes, there is no business that is so perfect that they'll not have some flaws in it. So of course, even Amazon will have some returns, and you can see that we are maintaining a separate sheet or a table just to list all the returned products. Okay, so all the order IDs are getting listed, and you can only see the return flag yes. There is nothing else called no. So the return flag is all yes, which means we are only capturing the orders that got returned in this sheet. I hope I'm making myself clear. Yes, these are some clarity and understanding that you should have before getting your data into the tool itself. If you think that yes, we have another sheet where we have all the orders, everything in it, then there is going to be a lot of confusion. I'll go and make you work on these different sheets. I'll go and give you some scenarios. You'll go and perform certain operations when I go through this particular course. That's really going to help you to understand and bring the data together, bridge the gaps, and understand what you can do with this information. So all this understanding and all this information that I'm giving you is certainly going to help you in the later stage of the process that we will go and follow. Okay. So when important, again, we are not capturing all the orders that was kind of delivered by this particular store. No, we are only capturing the orders that got returned in this sheet. Okay. The return sheet is only capturing the returned products or orders. Okay. Good. Now, if you remember, we had a column called as region here. Yes, on the order sheet, this is our order sheet. So this is where we have region column. If I go to the people, there are certain managers managing some region. Yeah. So this is what we have. So we are just going through this information. We will bring it all together. We want to go and understand, okay, who's managing what region? I may want to go and map and marry this information to this particular detail here. Okay, so we will do all of that in our data visualization tool, which is Power BI. And this is what is going to be the exercise that we'll go and do. So this is a small data set. but it has every single, thing that I wanted to go ahead and go through. And that's the beauty about this small data set. Okay. Again, don't really think of, you know, working on a bigger data set. I see and ask, I get this ask from a lot of people saying that, they want to work on a real-time project. Yes, I understand that. But you want to first of all understand how to work with Power BI. Okay. Jumping right like 100 steps ahead of anything is not going to work. Let's go step by step. I'll just walk you through all of these different details. We'll start small and we'll just go ahead and bring up those different projects, and we'll work with those projects at the end of the course. Okay. So we will have at least 3 to 4 projects that you'll go and work on. So don't worry about all that. We will do all of that. But once we understand all the small concepts, you'll be able to make use of all of them, put it all together, and then build the entire big project that we will go and work on. Okay. It's going to require all the knowledge that we are going to learn or go through. It is important for you to note all of that. That's why I'm just going to go step by step, and let's just not jump like 100 200 steps ahead of this first step that we are taking. We'll go hand in hand. Okay. That's something that I would like to go ahead and assure you and also guarantee you. Let's go ahead and slowly go through all of these concepts. There are a lot of things, and you may be, like I said, you may be a fresher. You don't even know how a database looks like, and we want to go ahead and get used to that particular idea, and we want to understand how a database looks like, how to go ahead and install a database if you really want to work on that. I'll give you all the different details, so don't worry about all that. We'll talk about it. Okay. But I hope this is clear. Any questions on the data set as of now? We just went through the orders table, returns, and people. This is what we will go and load, and we'll talk more about it in a time, in a while. Okay. Any questions here? I'll just take a pause. Let me just go ahead and ask you some questions. Let's see who. If you have any questions, do let me know. Okay. It need not be just because of this, related to this, but just ask me if you have any questions in general. Otherwise, yeah, I'll take it up. Just don't deviate from the topic too much. Okay. Again, like I said, let's go step by step, not deviating from the topics. Do let me know if there is a topic or some questions coming in which is not relevant, and there is still time for us to learn, and that answer may not be clear to you right now. I'll just put it in a parking lot, and what I'll do is I'll take it up later. So we'll just do it that way. So yes, let the questions come in. I'm just looking at the chat, and we'll move forward. Okay. I did not get much of the response from this batch last time as well. I would like to receive some good, nice response from this batch. Yes, it's a nice, calm batch. I understand it's good, but I would like to have some response on the chat here. Okay, great. All right. Uh, let's move on. I think no questions so far. I did not receive anything on the chat. Good. Let me just do this. So we have an understanding of the data set now. Let's go ahead and jump right into the tool. We'll go ahead and load it into Power BI. Okay. Now, we did not go ahead and look at the tools, environment. So let's go ahead and walk through, or I'll just say we'll take a tour of this environment and we'll move forward from there. Okay. So what do you have? Did I go through this tool? And did I just give you a walkthrough of this tool? Yes or no? Anyone can someone confirm, please? I don't think we opened Power BI in our last session, right? Did we go through this? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Yeah. Good. All right. In that case, shall we go ahead and start loading the data? We have loaded the data set. Okay. That's what you're saying. No, this is an evening batch. If you're, I'm sorry, I remember this name coming from the morning batch as well. So I'm just a little hesitant. I just want to make sure that the evening batch participants are also in sync with, what I wanted to go ahead and cover. I think we just covered one session for them. That's why I'm asking. Okay. All right. So again, I'm just asking this question. Did we go through this environment? Did I talk about the data pane? Did I talk about the visualization pane? Did I talk about these 3 icons? Yes, no? Let me know. No. Correct? So yes, that's what I'm asking. This is a different batch altogether. We have so many new participants. So yes, if you're coming and joining from the morning batch, like I said, just hold on. Yes, we have covered this in the morning batch, but we'll just want to go through that in the evening batch as well. Okay. Yeah, I remember that. We did not do it. Okay. All right. So let me just quickly walk you through this interface here. Let's understand this and then we'll move forward. All right. So what we have here is a data pane. All right. We are in the Power BI desktop version, and I told you how to install the desktop version. If you have not done that, please do ask that in the chat box. I'll give you the steps again. Okay. So in Power BI desktop, whenever you are connecting to the data set, you'll do this. You'll go and say get data, and it will point you to any data source that you have. It may be an Excel file, it may be a SQL Server database, Oracle database, some databases on the cloud, whatever that is. We'll see a list of databases that Power BI can connect to. So we'll just go ahead and talk about it in a while. But you are going to say, hey, I want to get to the data. You're going to connect to the data. And once the data gets loaded into Power BI, it will come and sit here as tables. So this is going to be a table, and it will also have some columns within it. Yes, that's what we have. And again, you can connect to another table, bring that in, and that will also come and sit here. Then again, another table, a few columns, and all of that is going to be that way. Okay. So you'll have the list of tables and columns getting listed in the data pane. We'll see how that works as we go and load a lot of tables today. Let's go and talk about it. That's what is coming up. Okay. And then we have the visualization pane here. All right. So we have the visualization pane, and you can just take these visualizations. These are the templates that you can start off with. You can put it in the page, and what you can do is you can start building a report. Okay. You can do all of that. And will talk about it in a while. Like I said, visualization is the last thing that you want to worry about. You don't want to jump into that right away. There are going to be a lot of things that you will do. You will go ahead and connect to the data set. Your data is not going to be clean. You'll have to go ahead and cleanse your data. You know, there are a lot of terms that people use. I'm just going to give you some terms. So people call this as, data massaging, data cleansing, data preparation, data, I would say, shaping, a lot of terms is given, and that all relates to something called as transformation. If you remember the ETL concept that we talked about, extraction, transformation, and loading in the previous session, I'm just talking about the same thing. So you may want to go and transform your data so that it is good enough to be loaded and then worked with. Okay, so that's important. So we'll start off with the visualization phase, yes, but it's going to be a lot of time from where, I mean, from today. I would say it's going to be like 5 to 6 session later that I'll go and cover the visualization. Okay, because like I said, and if you remember my BI slide, I think I can just go and quickly bring that up. Give me a minute. So what I'll do is I'll quickly bring up the slide here. So if you remember my BI definition and the slide that I showed you there, this is the slide. Yes. Where is visualization for you? Visualization is the last thing that you should worry about. You have to go and understand where is your data source. You want to do the ETL stuff. You want to go and load it or store it and then work with that particular data. And then comes the visualization phase. Okay. So remember, visualization is going to be very, very easy. The way you want to build, the way you want to go ahead and bring the data together, and you want to go ahead and do some reporting and dashboarding, these are all going to be very easy. Okay. So don't worry about all that. What I'm trying to tell you here is you just want to do this at the last. Don't jump right into this. Okay. Visualization is not for you to get started right away. You may want to go ahead and do this sometime later. All right. Great. So let's do this. So let's go ahead and talk about connecting to the data source and so on and so forth. So let's just go ahead and do that. Okay. Now, what you'll also see here is you'll see that there is a filters pane, and just look at the color of this pane. Yes, there is a slight difference. Can you see that? It's all kind of gray, light gray, but this is white. This pane is all white. So there are certain panes that you can enable or disable, and visualization pane and data pane is going to be there forever. Okay, so you cannot go and remove or hide this pane. You cannot go and kind of get rid of this pane. Okay, you have to go and you can either shrink them, but you will have to anyways use them one or the other way. Okay, Now, if you go to different views or different interfaces within this environment, this visualization pane may go off. I'll show you how that works, but the data pane is going to be remaining there forever. Okay, so you can't do anything about it. The data pane will remain here. You can shrink them, you can expand them, but you cannot go ahead and get rid of them. Okay, but there are panes like filters and other panes. I'll just show you that. If I go to the view menu on top, you will see that there are a lot of other panes. Yes, you can enable them. These are called panes. Okay, it's under show panes section. All right, so what you can do is you can just click on this, and I have enabled the bookmarks pane, the selection pane, yes, performance analyzer, sync slicers. All of this is going to be used one or the other way, but you don't have to keep them open all the time. Okay, now when you have all these panes on your screen, look at my canvas. Where is my canvas? That's all gone. All right, so you don't want to go ahead and keep this or these many panes open. You just want to go ahead and even shrinking them or collapsing them is not going to be the right way, because you'll hardly have some room for you to go and build or design your reports better. So I would say rather just get rid of all of these panes, and you can turn them on, you can turn them off whenever they are required and not required accordingly. You don't have to keep them all the time right here like this. Okay, so I don't know, it's up to you. You can work the way you want it. But what we want to do is we want to go ahead and make sure that, you know, these panes are not available, so that you're not getting distracted. You're not just getting kind of overwhelmed with the information that you have on the screen. So let's go ahead and make it neat and clean. We just want data pane and the visualization pane forever. That's fine. We'll just work with that later. You can shrink the visualization pane just to get some room. There is also this icon here, this, small icon that can actually shrink your ribbons. Okay, we call this as ribbons on top. So you can shrink or kind of expand it. That's again possible, giving you some room for you to go and work on your canvas. Okay, so this is going to be our canvas, and you can just go and have that way. So this is where I'll have the title of the report. I can have a logo. I'll just go and build those reports. I think I saw or showed you one report, right? So you will have those KPIs coming in. You can have some graphs and charts. You can have those drop downs here. We will just go and build something like that. Okay. So we'll just come up with a report, and that's something that you'll go and work on. All right. So these are the different sections or panes that you'll go and work on. We'll just kind of use them when the time is right, but we'll not do it right now. Okay. So yeah, you can just turn them all off, and you kind of just keep these two panes. Good. Now, the other few sections that we will go and work on is called as, these three things, and these are called as views. I'm going to talk about the last one later, but let's go and talk about the first three. And then that's what is going to be important, because that's where you'll be working a lot. Okay. So the first one is called as the report view. All right. And that's what you are currently on. This is our report view. You are looking at the report view, and this is where you should be able to build the report. Okay. The canvas that you're looking at is the report view, and that's how this is all set up. The second one is going to be the table view, and the third one is going to be the model view. Okay. So the table view is going to give you a tabular view of your data. That's how things are, simple as that. And the model view is going to help you to do some data modeling. Okay. What is this? Why is this important? We'll just go and learn about that sometime later. These are going to be tables. Let's say this is table 1, this is table 2. And what you do here is you create a relationship between that table, and that's going to help us, kind of bring the data from these two tables into a single visualization. Okay, so that is what we will go and do. And that's how this is all going to be set up. So yeah, let's worry about that sometime later. So these are the different things that you want to go and toggle between a lot: a report view, a table view, and model view. So you'll be just working with this a lot, and you won't understand what these views are. Okay. And when you're talking to a Power BI person, Power BI developer, okay, you want to go and talk about and use these terminologies, right? So, hey, can you go to the report view? Did you check the table view? Did you get a column in the table view? Did you do the data modeling properly? Just go to the model view. This is how you want to go talk to a person who works on Power BI. Okay. You don't want to just like that say, hey, click on the third icon from the left. No, that's not the way it works. Understand and remember these names. All right. Good. The fourth one, and I don't want to bring that up. Let's go and see what this is. And I can't zoom in with the tooltip on. So if you just can read the tooltip, it says it's a DAX query view. All right. Now, what I want you to understand is this. This is called as DAX query view. All right. This is called as DAX. I'll just go ahead and put it this way. Query view. All right. Now, there is something called as DAX that we will go and learn. Now, these are going to be, something that we will learn is going to be some functions, some operators, all of that put together. We'll go and build some formula. Okay. We will go and build some formula. We can create calculations. We can create tables. We can create measures. We'll call them as measures, so on and so forth. This is what we will go and do. So anything on the right hand side, we'll use some small functions, operators, formulas, calculations, tables, and measures. That's what we'll create. But what you're looking at here is a view for you to write a query. All right. So if I were to write a query, and I'm just kind of giving you this today, I did not do this in the previous session or in the morning batch. But let's say if I were to write a query, I would do this. I'll say evaluate, you know, orders. Orders is the table name. Okay. We'll load that order sheet here and you'll see that the orders table will come in. So this is going to be a query. All right. And if you come from a SQL background, this is equivalent to writing SQL statement like select star from orders table. Okay. So this is a query that we are building. We are not writing any formula or a function. A formula would look like this. A formula would be just like this, sum of, some column, let's say sales column. Okay. For that matter, this is what a formula would look like. So this is what we want to get to the right hand side. This is what we want to do. And on the left hand side, this is not what we want to go and do. Okay. So you want to write queries when you have some issues with your table. When you want to understand the performance of your table, that's when you write your DAX queries. When you want to understand if a calculation that you have written is taking more time or less time, you want to go and evaluate those queries. Okay. So, or calculations, that's when you'll go and use the query. And the query part is not part of this particular course. I can give you a glimpse of it. I can give you a small understanding of it. We can do that sometime later if time permits. But what I'm telling you is query view is for advanced users. We will only work with some DAX formulas. It's not going to be too complex. Okay. So we will go on this side of things, the right side of things. This is what we will go and learn. We will not learn this one. Okay. So query view is not for you. Don't worry about it. It's going to be very complex. You don't want to get into it and break your head. Okay. So don't worry about all this. These are going to be a lot of scripts and formulas and functions that you write. You don't want to really do all of that. There is going to be a lot of learning curves. You don't want to get into all these learning areas and you don't want to spend the time in places where it's not required. Okay. So ignore the fourth icon here. This is just something that got recently added. You don't want to really do this way. Okay. I hope you're clear. Don't just get into the fourth one. It is not really for you. It is for advanced users. This is how the DAX query view will look like, but it's not for us. Okay. So we'll just work on the first three views, the first three icons, and that's more than enough. This is called as a report view, table view, and a model view. Okay. So that is how this is all set up. All right. Okay. We have a question. Its DAX view is not showing my PC. Please tell me, maybe you're not on the latest version. Can you just go to help and just click on about and look at the version that you have? Probably you have like 3 or 4 months old version. I'm not sure. Just look at it. If you're in the latest version, you'll see this because this is an update that just came in, I think 1 or 2 months ago. Okay. So yeah, that's how we have it. You just want to make sure that you're on the latest version. If you're not on the latest version, you can go to Microsoft Store, search for Power BI Desktop and update it or just install it from there and it will take care of your updates. Okay. This is what I gave you in the previous session. So try installing Power BI from Microsoft Store. Don't install it from anywhere else. It will not get updated. All right. Clear? Any questions otherwise? I hope this environment and understanding of this environment is all clear, right? So this is what we want to understand. Let me just go ahead and load the data, and stop me if you have any questions. Raise your hands, put that in the chat box. I'll take up that question, but let me just move forward and I'll show you how to connect to your data set, right? So we have our data set here. We have our file here. If someone has joined just recently, I'll go ahead and share this file one more time. Let me just do that very quickly, and then we'll move forward with this. And please don't do this parallelly on your screen whenever I'm performing the same operation here. Whenever I'm connecting to the data set, loading the details, please don't do that, because, you know, you'll be missing a lot of things. Yeah, I've just shared the file. Did you get that? Yes. Just a few chats above. Just look at that. I just shared that file one more time. I'm just going to share that one more time for you. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, just share that the third time. Okay, just look at that. Okay, now what we will do is we'll go connect to our file. What was our file? Our file was an Excel file, yes or no? So this file is our Excel file, and I just want you to make sure that you're taking the right path in going ahead and, working with that. Okay, so let me just bring up this one more time on the screen here. Have a look. So this is an Excel file. Yes, how did you know that? Because it says it's an Excel file. It opens in an Excel workbook, and that's how it is, right? So our data lies in an Excel file, and we'll just go ahead and connect to that in a while. Okay, now how should you go about doing it? So what Microsoft is going to offer you is a lot of connectors through which you can go ahead and connect to the respective data source, get into that data source, and then connect to your data. So in this case, it's going to be an Excel file. So you can see that it says import data from Excel. It is giving you an icon. You can click on that icon, and then you can move forward with that. Okay. You can also click on this icon on top. It is also going to help you to connect to an Excel workbook. These are two different ways of doing the same thing. If you click on the get data dialog box, sorry, this one, it is having a drop down here. Yeah. You can click on the icon itself, but I'll click on the drop down, and that brings up something more. And you'll also see that there is this Excel workbook listed here. So yes, there are different ways in which you can get to your Excel workbook as a data source. If you have that as a data source, you can just go to that in many different ways. And finally, you can also click on more. That should give you the list of connectors that is possible from Microsoft Power BI. It will just list all the connectors from where you can bring the data in. Look at this. Okay, so I'll just do this one more time. You can click on the get data icon again, or you can click on the drop down and you can click on more, and that's going to open the get data dialog box. Yes. Now you'll see that there are a lot of data sources that you can connect to. You can connect to data in SQL Server. If it is in an Access DB, that's an old ways of working. If it is in an Excel workbook, text or CSV file, whatnot, Oracle database, so on and so forth. So you can see a lot of different data sources that you have. Snowflake is again one of the famous data warehouses, a cloud-based platform that we have. You know, this is what we have, so many different data sources that we can go ahead and connect to, and that's how it's all set up. Yeah. Now you want to identify where is your data set. Okay, if it is in SQL Server, you'll go through that route. If it is in an Excel workbook, you'll go through that route. Choosing this path is important, because based on this, you may be giving some credentials here, username, password, server name, all of that. You may be pointing it to a file here, just as the file path and so on and so forth. So you may want to go take the right direction or the route, and then go through that particular detail and get to your data set. Okay, if you're just looking for an Excel workbook, but if you chose text or CSV, that's not going to work. If you have a data in SQL Server database, but if you're looking for some other databases and going through that, it's not going to work. So make sure that you do take the right direction and go from there. Okay, I'll show you that in a while, but let's go and connect to our data set first. Okay, so we'll click on Excel workbook. Yes, you should have chosen any one of this. That's fine. It just still will point you to the same thing that I'm going to show you here. Let's see how that works. Okay, so if I just go choose Excel workbook, say connect, it's going to ask me to connect and point it to the Excel workbook. All right, look at this. I'll say connect. And it's going to ask me, where is the file? I'm already in that folder. So I'll just go point it to the file. This is what is the file that I gave you. All right. Sample Superstore new. Let's go ahead and click on that. And I'll open this file in Power BI. Okay. I'll share the files whenever we are working with that. Okay, don't worry about the files, the list of files that I have. That can be for some various different reasons, but whenever we are working on a scenario, whenever we need that particular file, I'll share that with you here. Okay, don't worry, and that will also come from my team. They will also share you the files through some links that they can go ahead and give you, and you can download it from there. Great. So next step is to go through a navigator window. This is an important window, and this is what I want you to understand. Okay. So you went through a small icon. We said, yes, my data lies in Excel workbook. We went through that. That was our first step. Okay. The second step is always this navigator window. So you just have to kind of make sure that the step one is all taken care of. In case of SQL Server, it would be, probably the server name, the username, password. You'll have to key in all of this information, and then you'll be taken to the navigator window for that particular step. You're getting my point? So this is going to be your first step. Always the navigator window is always going to be the second step that you will go through. Okay. And that's what I wanted to go ahead and convey today. We'll just go ahead and talk about connecting to a variety of different data sources. Let's see if that is something that we can do. And we'll just go through that. Okay. So this is what we have. And once you have all of this, okay. So what you're looking at is you're looking at a navigator window, and we have our sample superstores file coming in. It has 3 sheets. Yes, we have gone through these sheets. We understand what data lies in these sheets. We want to just go ahead and load them and take it forward. Yes or no? Clear? Now let me focus on just loading the orders sheet for now. I'll just focus on orders sheet. We'll just do that. We will not focus on loading returns or people for now. Okay. I'll tell you why, because this has some discrepancies, and we'll just go ahead and fix that sometime later and then load it. But let's focus on loading the orders table alone. So if you want to load the orders table, let's go ahead and click on that. Don't check the box yet. Just go ahead and click on that. Click on the name, and you'll get a preview on the right hand side. All right. Now I want you to take a moment. I want you to take a step back, relax, and I want you to carefully go through this preview that you're getting. It can be quick. You can just quickly scan through this information. That's fine. But I want you to take a look at this preview. Okay. So sometimes what happens is there can be some errors. Let's say some places you'll see some errors. Okay. There is a possibility that there is an error in your data set. There is a possibility that the column headers are not proper. Okay. There is also a possibility that some of the values are missing. There is a possibility that this value is coming in a different column. There can be a lot of discrepancies here. Getting my point? Yeah. So there is a possibility that it can have a lot of discrepancies. So you want to make sure if your preview is looking good. What is that you'll check? You'll check whether your order date looks like a date or not. Simple validation like that. Okay. Maybe you have an email address column. Maybe you'll just check whether that is coming in that format at the rate some domain name.com. You want to do all of that. Okay. Let's go scroll through this towards the right hand side. Your customer name, customer ID, is it looking like a customer name? Just go ahead and validate those things. Country, city, state, just have a look. Postal code, is it looking like a postal code? Just that kind of a validation. Sales, quantity, discount, profit. Are these the last columns in your table, in your Excel file? You want to just make sure you do that validation. Okay. Yeah. Just give me 1 minute, please. Yeah. So what I'm saying here is you just want to validate whether the data that you have in the file is the exact same data that you're getting here. Okay. And remember, this is just a preview. So you can't expect the tool to go and give you all thousands and thousands of rows that you have in your data set. It's just a preview. Okay, so you just hardly get like 10, 20 records on top. So yes, go through this information and understand whether this is all important and this is all looking correct or not. Simple. Okay. See, I'm stressing every single point here. That's because I want you to do this. If you just go and load the table just like that into Power BI, what happens is, you load this table here and then you'll have to come back to this step. You getting my point? So just go ahead and have that particular validation done. It's a simple validation. What I'm asking you to do is just look at this data. Do you see any discrepancy? Yes, no. Based on that, we will decide on certain things and then we'll move forward. Yeah. Okay. Please share the sheet. Okay. Give me a minute. I'll close this file. I'll have to go and share that with you guys one more time. Okay. Yeah. Sharing that one more time with the entire group. For those who have just joined now, please go ahead and download it and keep it. Just download and keep it. Don't work on this at all. Okay, look at my screen. There are a lot of small things that you'll miss out. Yeah, please just concentrate on my screen. You can do this anytime. You'll have the recording. You'll have all the details with you. So yes, you can do this later point in time. All right, great. Let's go ahead and do this. So understood? You're just clicking on the orders name, the table name or the sheet name, and you're looking at the preview. It looks good. Very good. Now what should I do? You'll see that we want to go and load the data. Yes, but it's all disabled. The buttons are disabled. So whenever you want these buttons to be enabled, it means that you have to check these boxes. What I mean is, you have to tell Power BI what information do you want to take it forward. Is it going to be the orders sheet? Is it going to be the people? Is it going to be returns? Yes, you can check multiple sheets or tables and you can load them all into Power BI. Okay, that's how you can work with this environment. But we'll just do this for orders for now. Okay, people and returns, I'll come back. Hold on. I'll come back and I'll tell you why I'm not doing it this way. There is some issues with that. Okay, we'll just go ahead and fix that. Okay, so check this box in order to just go ahead and use our load button, because only when you check this box, the load button is going to be enabled and then you can take it forward. Okay, so as far as I see, I don't see any issues. This is all good. I have given a stamp of approval. We'll just move forward and then we'll take it inside Power BI. Getting it? Yes. So when everything looks good, let's go ahead and move forward. So this time, like I said, we'll just load it because we don't have any issue with that. So I'll just hit that green button, click on load, and that's going to load our table into Power BI. I'll do this one more time for the same orders table. Just have a look and you'll understand this better. Okay, I might have just spoken a lot in certain sections, areas, or places. So let's just do this very quickly. Okay, have a look. We have the orders table already coming in, but we'll just do this one more time. Okay, what did I do? I clicked on get data, and you can click on the icon itself or click on any of these different icons that you have. Fine. Get data, click on more. From your list of data sources, you can find which data source is to be used, because that's where your data should be lying. So let's say this is going to be Excel workbook in this case. I'll say connect. And what I do is I point it to the file where my file is. I'll just say open. And then I'll go and check the box, click on the table itself, look at the preview. If it looks good, I'll check the box and load it and take it forward. Is that clear? So that's what we want. All right. Yes, let's come out of this. I just loaded this table already. I don't want to load it. It will just come and sit as orders 1, orders 2, something like that. I don't want it that way. So I hope you are understanding it. Okay, check the box and then just go ahead and hit load. That's what we want to go ahead and do. All right. So once you have done, you've got this. All right. So there is a question. If you want to change the column names or the table name, yes, you can do that. Right click on these tables or the columns that you have done, loaded, say rename. Let's say I'll just say orders table for that matter. Okay. Yes, you can do that. And I think I just pressed one more extra character there. You can do that. Okay. So this is our orders table. You can just keep it that way. It is up to you how you want to have your column names. Okay. Or table names. You can expand this table. Have a look. You have this small arrow. that can be toggled, and you can just get the list of column names. Okay. The columns are all set up in alphabetical order, so A through Z. And don't worry about the column order that you had in the file. It's all okay. The intention is to just bring in the columns into the table or into the Power BI file here. You don't have to really worry about the column order. Okay, that doesn't matter. We'll just go ahead and shuffle everything. We'll just go ahead and work around with the visualizations and other things. Anyways, the order of columns, the details doesn't matter. I mean, I'm just kind of looking for the same number of column, the same number of records coming in. I don't want to have any, missing data. That's the whole concern that you should have. Otherwise, it's all okay. Yeah. What if column name customer ID reflects as customer ID? It will not happen to a greater extent. Okay, it will not happen to a greater extent. But yes, if it is happening, I'll give you the way. You'll get this answer. Just hold on for next 5 minutes, and I'll tell you how to work with this. You'll definitely know that. Okay, so you can go ahead and have that renamed from here. That's again one of the options. You can always rename things from here. But if certain things are happening like that, you have a dedicated environment wherein you can go ahead and fix all of this and then load it. That will take care of, kind of automation. And I'll tell you where that is. Just hold on for some time. Yeah. Okay. Is this clear, everyone? I've just loaded the orders table. Now let's go ahead and go through all of these views and understand what do we have. Because if I were to take you before, when I was explaining it, you will see blank. Now that we have data, we will see this view come to life, and they'll show you the data the way they are meant to show. Okay. The environments. Let's go ahead and do that. So we are in the report view. So you're just looking at the report view here. We will build those visualizations, bring those visualizations, build our report later, but we'll just kind of understand this canvas. Here's our report view. Good. Let's go to our table view. Look at that. That's our table view. This is one of the tables. So when you have so many different tables that you are going to bring in, you can click on that table, and then that will give you the preview here. Okay, so in this case, it's going to be the orders table. You're looking at the preview of the orders table, and look at that, the row ID, the order ID, the order date, ship date, blah, blah, blah. Everything that we just spoke about in the other Excel sheet is all here, right? Sales, quantity, discount, and profit. All of this is just coming in the same way. In this view, what you have is the column order is all preserved. But again, don't worry about the options. You don't have the data sorted in proper way, but you can always do that. It's just like Excel. You can click on this drop down. It works like a filter. You can set it like ascending, descending order, or if you want to filter some data, for example, let's go and filter out a customer name, Aaron Bergman here. Let's just go do that. And you can very well go do all of that. Okay. So this preview is kind of, um, you know, a place where you can come in, you can kind of filter certain things, narrow down your search and understand what's happening. Okay. So that's kind of an environment this is. We'll also use this effectively when I go and work on DAX. I'll show you how to use this effectively. I use this environment, this preview a lot, and I get to understand a lot of things. Okay. So yes, for some validation purposes, you want to cross check certain things. Let's say, for example, for Aaron Bergman, what are the products he's purchasing? Yes. And what is the total sales? You want to just do a rough calculation or understand a few things? Yes, you can go and filter that out and then look at that. Okay. Pretty much like Excel. You can apply all the filters that you have in Excel. Yes, this particular column equals to this, does not equal to, starts with, ends with, blah, blah, blah. All of this can be done. So this is pretty much like Excel, but it's not exactly like Excel. So yes, we'll have some differences here and there, and I'll highlight that whenever the time is right. Okay, so we'll do that. Clear so far? Any questions? Yeah, everyone clear? Just say yes in the chat box so that I know you're all with me and you're listening to me. There are no questions. Please do say yes on the chat box. Yes. Yep. Thank you for the confirmation. Good. Good. All right. Yeah, let's move on. Let's go to the next view. I'll just click on this model view and look at that. This is our table, right? This is going to be our table. Yeah, thank you for the confirmation, guys. Thank you. So yeah, look at that. So when you load a table, it just comes and sits like this. And this is our model view. You'll have similar tables like this coming in. And what we will be doing is we'll be just kind of relating these two tables together. We'll understand why is this relationship necessary. Why should we go and do all of this sometime later as we progress? And you'll also see that whenever I load much more tables here, okay, so many other tables, you'll see that there is going to be a data model automatically getting created. And that's a good thing, but we want to go and avoid it in certain cases. I'll just show you and tell you why we should do that. That's all coming up. That this is how a model view would look like. Okay. A table is going to be shown in this particular fashion, and you'll have different tables coming in that will be coming in like that. And you may want to decide whether you want to go and, connect all these tables together this way, and what's the significance of it. We'll learn them in some time. All right, good. So let's go back to our report view. And in this case, just now, we'll just go and talk about loading the other two sheets. We'll have some discrepancies with that. We want to go ahead and have a few things, you know, kind of done before we go and load the data. So yeah, let's go and do that. All right. And I want you to pay attention to my screen. I'm going to ask you some questions. I would like you to go and reply that on the chat or raise your hands. I'll unmute you and we'll just go through that. Okay, great. Let's do this. Uh, let's go back to our get data, or you can also click on Excel workbook. So let's connect to the same Excel workbook. We'll try to load our other two sheets, returns and people. We will have some discrepancy with that, and let's see how we want to go and tackle that. Okay, I'll click on this Excel workbook, point it to the same file, sample superstore. You can just connect to the same file hundreds and hundreds of time. You can load one table each time. That's fine. It doesn't really matter. Power BI will always, do that, or it is going to welcome all that. Okay, so don't worry about connecting to the same data set, same data source multiple times. That's just fine. Power BI will take care of that behind the scene. You don't have to worry about the redundancy here and other things. You just should be good here. Okay, so I'll just go click on this. I'll say open, and let's just go ahead and just look at the navigator window and let's understand something here. Okay, I'll click on people and I'm going to ask you some questions. Just let me know what is the answer. I'll click on people and look at this preview. Okay, I want you to take a look at the preview. I told you, you want to just kind of take a step back, understand if everything is looking good, and then make sure that you want to take this data forward or not. So should I go and take this data and load it into Power BI? Yes, no. What is wrong with this data set? What is the discrepancy that you see? I'll give you this time, a little time, so that you're typing. If you're typing, I'll give you that time. Column name. Yes, there is an issue with the column name. Yes, everyone agrees. Correct. The column headers are not proper. Yes or no? Can you see that? The column headers, oops. The column headers are just not proper. It should be this one. Correct. Okay. Now the question is, why did Power BI not do this in the orders table? When you were looking at the orders table, everything just seems right. The column headers are all looking good. Okay. But why did it do that in the people table? That's the question. Can someone think about it? I'll just show you the orders table here. This is your orders table. What's different about this table? And if I go to the people table here, what is different about this table? Why is it not giving you the column names properly? Anyone? It's just a guesswork. Okay, just tell me. Guess why is it not working? Anything goes. Okay, just let me know. I need to see some answers. What do you think? Why is Power BI doing it? Why is it not giving you the column names properly? Any thoughts? Anyone? It has only two columns. Okay. Source Excel is like that. All right. Yeah, that's a possibility. I'll just take these answers. Okay. But I'll give you the original answer. Or let's see if someone can give me the answer. That would be great. Why do you think the column names are not accepted properly here? This is the people table. If I go to the returns table, you'll see the same issue here. This should have been the column name, yes or no, but it is not coming in as the column headers. What can be the reason? Orders looks good, but the other two table doesn't look good. What is it? Anyone? I just have two answers. Columns are highlighting than original headings. Not really. Okay. It is just a way in which I wanted to go ahead and kind of segregate or separate out certain things so that you understand that better. Yes. So the highlights and other things doesn't really matter. It should not cause any issue. So if you're thinking this is causing an issue, no, not required. I have the same highlight in people table. It did not take it. Okay. Returns. I had some filters and the same filters are also applied here. Okay. So I don't think so. Any other suggestion or things? Does it have internal data? No, it does not have any internal data. Gap in rows? No, there are no gaps in rows. Where are the gaps? No, it's not there. Okay, great. Thanks for your reply or these, options or the suggestion. But let's go and talk about it. Yeah, let's say one more. Not able to identify column values and differentiate between column names and values. Yes, yes, but why? The question is why? It's not able to do all of that. Clear, yes, but why is the question. Okay, yeah, great. Thanks for your inputs. That's good. Let's go and talk about it. Okay, have a look. I mean, it's just me who's just going to give you this answer, and it is pretty much something that I can prove behind the scene what's happening. We'll just have to wait for another session to go into that detail, but we'll just understand this in this fashion, very simple fashion. Okay, have a look. So when I go to the orders table, okay, let's suppose this is not the column header and this is your first row. Just assume that this is your first row. Okay. Now look at this. In the first row, every single value, if you just look at from this way horizontally, every single values of a text data type, yes or no? This is a text data type, row ID. Order ID is a text. Order date is a text. I'm just looking at that values. Okay. Shipping date, ship mode, everything is of text data type. Yes or no? Let's go and look at some columns now. Row ID. When you look at this row ID column, what's happening? The row ID, the first row is of text data type. Rest of the values is all number data type. Number, or you can also call this as integer data type. Yes, whole numbers, integer, whatever that is. Look at the order date here. What's happening? The first row is all text. The first row is text. The rest of this is date. Integer data type. Yes, very good. Okay. So what is happening here? There are certain clues available for the tool to go ahead and understand that, yes, there is that one row where everything is text. But when you consider the rest of the values in certain columns, these columns, they have a different data type altogether. All of this put together, all of this, the rest of the rows, all of these values are all of integer data type. All of these values are all of date data type. Yes, you're getting my point. This means numeric, integer, whatever that is. Yes, very good. This means that it has a very clear cut idea that it can promote the first row to the headers, and that's what it has done. Clear? But when you go to people table, when you look at this particular detail, look at that. Every single value on this particular column is text. Yes, it's all text. This is all text. Even if you go with the row, the first row, it's all text. Now, the problem is the tool is confused and it does not want to give you some incorrect results. And hence, it has not promoted the first row to the header. You're getting my point? It does not know whether that first row would be the header or not. It can be the data. It can just start with the data itself. Yes, it is a possibility. So it's not giving you some incorrect results. It is just telling you that it cannot do it. You may want to go ahead and take that one extra step to fix this if you feel that the first row should be promoted to the headers. I hope I'm making myself clear here, right? So there is no indicator, there is no column with which it can differentiate and understand whether it can take the first row to the header or not. That clarity is, it's not getting it here, right? Now, if you have had a column like serial number, something like that, and if you have just put this as 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that, it would have considered, okay, everything here is all text, but everything down below is of different data type. One or two columns clues like this can definitely, bring your data like that. Okay. So that's the difference. And that's the missing piece of the puzzle. And we want to go ahead and fix that. Okay. So we'll go ahead and fix this. Let's go to the returns table and let's go ahead and do this. Have a look. This is all text. This is all text. Yes. Alphanumerical value. It's all text. Yes or no? Yeah. So that's all text and you can't really go ahead and do anything about it. Correct? So that's where we'll have to go ahead and fix this issue. We'll have to go ahead and promote this to the header and then move forward. Now the question is, should I go ahead and take this data and should I go ahead and load the data just like that into Power BI? Should I take people's table and load that just like that into the Power BI tool? Yes, no. Let me know. We have some discrepancies here. Should I load it just like that? Yes, no, maybe, no. Correct? Good. Very good. Yes, we have to go and transform the data. Very good. So we have another button here, which can be enabled when we check those boxes. Yes. And then what we have to do is we have to first of all transform the data and then go and load the data into Power BI. You're getting my point? Yes. So when we went ahead and connected with orders table, we wanted to just look at the preview. We saw the preview and we clearly understood that, okay, the preview looks good. There is no need for transformation. There is no need for changing anything here. And we just went ahead and loaded the data. Correct? That was a straightforward, thing. We can decide that clearly. But here we want to go ahead and fix the issue. And hence I cannot load the data directly. I want to transform the data first and then load the data. Okay. So if you remember again from my slide, what are we doing? Whenever we work with our data, we are following a process called as ETL. That stands for extraction, transformation, and loading. Now you can definitely go and, kind of skip transformation. You have to definitely extract, you have to definitely load the data somewhere and keep it. You can skip transformation, but in certain cases, transformation becomes one of the important steps and you need to go and take that, right? That's what I'm talking about. So let's go and talk about that in this scenario. We need to go and do this. So what I'll do is I'll check these boxes and let's go and do a transform of this particular information first, and then we will proceed with our loading part. Clear, everyone? We will not load this data directly. Yes, you can load it, but you'll have to again come back to, the transformation step from there. I'll also tell you how to get to that. Okay. Don't worry. So if you have missed this, let's say you're not paying attention to the details, you have not looked at the preview properly, maybe you were in a hurry and you just clicked on load. That's fine. Mistakes happen or things like that can happen. You can still come back and fix it. No worries. Okay. But I'll tell you, I want you to take that, kind of a moment and then go through this information and understand clearly what you're doing. If there is a discrepancy, fix that, come back. If there is an error that you see here in this particular preview, go ahead and fix that and come back. Okay. Do not load it just like that. And then you have to anyways revisit this particular step for sure. You can't ignore it. Okay, good. Let's move forward. I've checked these boxes. You can load any number of tables, any number of sheets. I'll just go click on transform data. Now look what this particular click of a button does. It's going to be opening a new window altogether. Just look at this, transform data. It will open something called as, let's see, I'll just go and make sure this is this way. It opens up a window called as Power Query Editor. Okay. This Power Query Editor is going to be your environment to transform your data. Getting my point? So any transformation, let it be addition of a column, deletion of a column, derivations that you want to do, you want to get rid of some top rows. Let's say you want to get rid of like 5, 6 rows from there, and you want to get rid of some bottom rows. All of that is part of transformation, transforming your data. So you have to be here in this window to transform and apply all those transformations. Okay. We'll go deep dive into a lot of other transformations in the next session. So we'll see how that works. And that's something that is going to be coming up soon. Okay. So let's see. What I'll do is okay, there is a question. Let me just take that up. Can heading integer like in order table heading in text? So it can be numeric also. Okay, let me understand this question. Like in the order table, headings and text. So it can be numeric also. Yeah, I mean, you're just asking whether the heading can be an integer. Is that what you're asking? Yes or no? Or it can be text also. I'm not fully clear with the question. Can you rephrase that for me? Yeah, so the heading, yes, it can be numeric also. That doesn't matter. If you really want to promote it to the header, yes, you can do that. Okay. So it doesn't matter. Yes, just like how all of this is all text. Yes, you can also have the numbers. You can also have 1, 2, 3 coming in. That's fine. So you may want to just kind of keep that consistency for sure. Okay. Yes, you can do that and you can still, or the tool will still go and look at it properly. All right. Yes, it can be anything. And as you progress, you'll understand this part. So either you keep that consistency, like the first row can all be text, it can all be numbers, it can be any of the similar data type. Okay, if it is date, keep everything as date. Power BI will understand it. Okay, I'm just giving an example. Yeah. Okay, so now let's go and see how to fix this issue. So our first row has to be promoted to the header, and in order to do that, we are here in the Power Query Editor. We have clicked on transform data button. We are here, and the fix is very simple. Most of the times the fixes are very simple. You don't have to really go and worry about it, but we'll understand the scenario clearly and then we will apply the fix. Okay, that's what we are trying to do, and that's where my explanation is going to be a little bit lengthy, but I hope you have the patience to listen and understand. Yes. So in this case, what we have to do is we have to go and promote our first row as headers, and there is an option here that is going to help you with that. Okay, it says use first row as headers. Okay, I'll just zoom in a little bit. Look at that. Use first row as headers. Yeah. So that is going to help you to promote your first row to the headers as the option suggests. You can also bring up that same option from this intersection here. Do you see that intersection between rows and columns? You can also click on that and that will present you with bunch of options, but you can go with the second option here, which says the same thing, use first row as headers. Okay, so I'll use these options in one of these tables. So let's go ahead and do this. Click on this one, be anywhere in the table, click anywhere in the table, just kind of, select the table, then click on use first row as headers, do that, and that promotes your first row to the headers and fixes the issue. Yes or no? Correct? Good. Now, let's go back to people table. Let's go to people table. And this time you can still use this option on top, use first row as headers. That will work. Otherwise, you can click on this icon and bring up the same option and click on that. So just click on use first row as headers. And there we go. We have fixed our headers. Yes or no? Clear? Now, someone asked, where can I go and change customer ID? If it is coming in as customer underscore ID or whatever that is. You can do that here. Double click on this column name and you can change that here. Okay, we'll talk more about this environment and this can be one of the automations that you can go and perform. I'll tell you how that is going to be automated. We'll talk about that later. But let's go and move forward with this scenario here. Clear so far? Any questions, anyone? Just say yes, no, clear on the chat box if you're clear with all of this. Any questions? Clear? Good. So yeah, let's move forward. So I'll just go ahead and say close and apply. So what we want to do is, remember, we were here in the main window. Yes or no? We were trying to go ahead and, oops, sorry. We were trying to go ahead and load our data. We got that navigator window. And from the navigator window, we clicked on transform data button. We went into this window, right? This is where we are right now. And what we want to do is we want to get back to this window. We want to load these tables here. We want to get back to that original window. That's where we will work 99% of the time. You'll be here in the transformation window or Power Query Editor just to make those transformation. Are our transformations complete? Yes, our transformation is complete. So we don't want to stick, we don't have to be in this window. We don't want to stick to this window. We'll come out of that. Okay. In order to do that, what you'll do is you'll click on this icon. It says close and apply. So it is under the home tab in Power Query Editor. Just click on this icon. This says close and apply. So you're closing out of this window. You're applying all the changes that you have done and you're coming out of this window. You getting my point? That's what you have to do. There are other options as well that you can choose. You can just apply the changes. What happens? The changes are applied, but you're still in the window, in the same window. You don't want to do that. You don't want to be here forever, right? So you want to come out of that. There is one more option called close. So you want to close this window, but these changes will be lost. So what do you want to do? You have to be careful with your option. So whenever you click on some drop downs, can you see those drop downs there? There are some drop downs available for every icon that you see, most of the icons. And whenever you choose that drop down, you can choose a lot of other options, how certain transformation or certain things to be performed. Okay. You get the same thing with get data, this one and a lot of other things here. But what I want you to do is pick up the right option. Okay. So either click on the icon itself that is going to apply and close the window, or click on the drop down and close and apply. You want to close this window, apply the changes and come out. That's what I want. Yes. So let's do that. Let's click on the icon itself. Click. So it's going to load all of the tables for you. Okay. And people and returns are getting loaded. It's loaded. Let's go to our table view. Let's go ahead and click on the people table. Click. And then there we go. We have nice, neat column headers coming in. There are no issues with our columns. Yes. Let's go to our returns table. Look at that returns table. It just loads the data properly. Very good. Clear? Yes. This is how you should be working with your tables. You should not be working with that just like that. You should not just be loading them just like that. Be very clear about what we have, and that's very important. All right. Yeah. All right. Any questions so far? Anyone? I hope you're understanding this part. Yes. You're understanding the flow. That's important. It's just going to be one simple step at a time. I'm just not going to jump into a lot of details. We'll just go cover this very slowly so that you're comfortable, you're getting used to this environment. That is what is important. All right. Can you share all these tables, please? That is there in the Excel sheet. All right. So let me share that Excel sheet one more time. If you want this file, yes, I can share that. That's not a problem. But I think you can do this automatically. I mean, do this on your side. So open Power BI desktop, load all of these files. You can do that. Yeah. So only rearranging is the error in the selecting sheets. So in the people and return sheet, the first row was not coming in as an header.